Then you talked a good bit about sentimentality. That's a perfect segue into something I wanted to talk about. Father Dwight Longenecker had an interesting tweet. He says, "I'm coming to the conclusion that sentimentality is the most cloying, suffocating, enslaving aspect of postmodern culture. Sentiments are a fine, normal part of being human, but sentimentality is tyrannous.
Tyrannus.
Tyrannous, excuse me." And then I think you say, to add on to that, you say, one of the biggest deceptions of the romantic illusion is the idea that the more intensely you feel about something, the more true it is. You can feel passionately about a lie. The truth might not touch your feelings at all. Feelings don't indicate truth.
Right.
Are you against values?
Values based on feelings and sentiment. Yes, I am. This is classic. I mean, you get this from C.S. Lewis, who got it from Augustine. Was and he addresses this. Lewis does in his book that feelings are nothing to base anything on. They come and go, and they come back again. And all the great writers, Benedict, all the rest, that is Saint Benedict of the Benedictine order, Francis, and all the rest, make this point again and again, that we can't allow how we're feeling at the moment to determine our values, to drive our actions, and to form our characters. And that was Father Dwight's point, was that sentimentality. By sentimentality there, he means being driven by how you're feeling about something, letting that determine what you do and how you live your life. And it really is crushing, because it makes people at the whim of whatever. It makes them easily propagandized, for one thing. There's very little communicating with people about, well, okay, let's get down to the facts of the situation. What are the details? Oh no, I just can't bear this. I can't bear to think of this and such situation going on. It's too much for me. Well, what they just did was set aside the rational consideration of what are the actual facts of the case, and allow themselves to be driven by how it makes them feel. That's sentimentality, and it really is. It's a slavery, because you're at the whim of whatever happens to drive you at the moment, and that means if somebody can figure out how to make you feel certain ways, they can goad you, they can herd you like sheep, just by making you feel certain ways.
That's why I don't watch news, because
I don't either.
Because it manipulates my emotion. I'm sorry I'm gonna attack this, but like watching Fox News, it's like because my family watches that, and it gets you pissed off. Pardon my language, but I mean, it immediately triggers you. It gets you to hate. It's like, okay, we're going to be hating these people today, and we're going to be hating these idiots. Look how stupid they are. To me, it's a divisive force, and it manipulates your emotions, and it does a lot of terrible things, and I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all.
The media is like that in general.
Yeah.
Much across the board.
But I have I have to say that it is an impulse, because obviously when you're able to tap into people's emotions, then business goes up. So that's always the trap.
Yep.
Oh gosh, you touched on so much. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it kind of scares me, the emotion and the sentimentality thing, because if history has shown us, I mean, anything, it's that people who are emotional make really bad, even catastrophic decisions.
Right.
I mean, like, just one instance of it is, after World War I, and we clamped down on Germany, and all the German people were really angry, and they wanted for greatness again, and we know the rest of the story. Emotional people don't make good decisions, and so I'm worried about America in that sense, because I don't know, we're losing touch with reality, and everything's just emotion. Oh, you don't want to bring your baby into this life, right? You're going to bring him into all this hardship. I mean, you can't do that to that. Are you going to really let your grandpa suffer? so much.
Yep.
I mean, he's such a burden, and he's just, I mean, quality of life, right?
Yeah,
See,
yeah. It's just like all these appeals to sentiment, and you can especially see it with the assisted suicide push.
yeah,
There's almost no question of like, well, why are we living anyway?
right,
And what kind of, how would you guard against abuses? It's all sentiment. It's all appeals to sentiment, just
yeah.
hurting people.
Well, you know, yeah, I always, being a student of business, marketing, that's almost the goal of marketing in a sense. It makes me wonders about the ethics of marketing, because the most part, as we study, the most powerful marketing is the marketing that taps into your emotions. And
I have a funny story about that if you want to
oh
hear
yeah,
it.
sure, let's hear it.
My philosophy professor in college told a funny story about one time he was asked by the business department to come over and give a brief talk in the business area about logical fallacies. That was one of the early things we covered in our philosophy classes, logical fallacies,
Yeah,
5 main logical fallacies.
yeah,
And so he had his little, canned talk. So he went over there and gave a little presentation one afternoon about 5 logical fallacies. And just like you would in philosophy class. And afterwards, he noticed that even while he was talking, the instructors were in the back of the room talking among themselves, and they never asked him back. And he later had a chance to question, ask one of them, why wouldn't Jim come back? Well, the truth of the matter is, those 5 logical fallacies, they're the basis of what we teach them on how to market.
yeah,
That's what that actually happened to my philosophy professor. He said these fallacies are the basis for how they teach marketing.
right.
So it's like, you can't come in there and tell them not to do that, because we're teaching them how to do it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, I always watch advertisements, and I love dissecting the real message underneath. And I
Yep.
know we're going on a tangent, but this is just, I don't know, some of my interests. And one of
Yep.
the most powerful marketing messages, in my opinion, are the marketing messages by companies that are selling alcohol, whether it's beer, vodka. And if you notice, if you look closely at all the messages, they are all the same. They're not actually touting the product at all. If you notice, they don't say, "Oh,
Oh,
we
yeah.
got the best tasting beer, we got this." What they do is they put this image in front of you of this fantasy that
Yep.
you want to be a part of, and it's like, wow, this is a great place. And then they put their beer as a part of that, as a little
Yep.
part. And
Yep.
the message, if I had to put it in a sentence, the message is a single sentence: is if you're not drinking, you're not having fun.
Yep.
And
Yep.
this all hit me one time, like about maybe 10 years ago, where I was at this party, and it's like, well, I kind of don't feel like drinking. And then it hit me. It's like, well, but if you're not drinking, you're not having fun. And then at that moment, I realized, oh my goodness, I've been programmed by all these
Yep.
marketing messages. So,
Yep. That's right.
again, I mean, that's the power of sentimentality, when you tap into people's emotions like that, and you don't even know how you're being formed, really.
Yeah, you're being manipulated.
You're being manipulated.
And you put your finger earlier on a huge issue, which is fear. How much fear is used to herd people and manipulate
right.
people and divide us one from another.